Some people don't just follow trends. They consume them. They move through them as if their mind is hungry and the internet is the only place that feeds them fast enough. One moment they're laughing at a sound everyone else hasn't even heard yet, and the next moment they're scrolling past it because they've already seen it 100 times. Before most of us even understand what a trend is about, they've already liked it, shared it, absorbed it, and jumped to the next one. To outsiders, it looks like fun. It looks like entertainment. Some call it addiction. Some call it obsession. But deep inside this fast consumption is a pattern far more complex and far more human than we think. Why are some people restless with old content? Why do they feel pulled toward every new sound, every new meme, every new joke the internet invents? Are they chasing something they can't name? Escaping something they don't want to feel? Or are they simply wired for a world that moves too quickly for everyone else? Today, we're going into the hidden mind behind fast trend consumers. The people who refresh their feeds every few minutes, who never want to feel late, who absorb content like fuel. And as we uncover layer after layer, I want you to stay with me to the end, because what you're about to learn may remind you of someone you know or even yourself. And before we go deeper, make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss powerful insights like this. Trust me, the end of this video is going to connect everything in a way that will stay with you. People who consume trends quickly usually don't do it by accident. Their brain is wired for quick pleasure. Every new trend offers a tiny reward, a burst of excitement, a spark of curiosity, a quick laugh, a shocking twist. It's small, but it hits instantly. Their nervous system becomes used to these micro-pleasures. 10-second clips, 6-second memes, half-a-second sounds, fast content, fast emotion, fast distraction. And the more they consume, the more their brain expects something new almost immediately. Their attention span doesn't shrink because they're lazy. It shrinks because their brain has been trained to expect instant stimulation. If something doesn't catch their attention in the first second, their mind pulls them away from it. They swipe, they skip, they jump, and this creates a cycle. Fast content brings fast pleasure. Fast pleasure leads to fast boredom, and fast boredom pushes them toward the next trend. It's not a weakness, it's conditioning. Their mind has learned to live in speed. And the next part of this video will show you how deeper emotional needs are connected to this pattern. So keep watching till the end. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, go ahead and subscribe, because the upcoming layers are even more eye-opening. For many fast trend consumers, the fear of missing out is real, not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply psychological way. The world changes fast. Trends appear and disappear within hours. Being early makes them feel connected. Being late makes them feel out of place. When millions react to a meme or sound, it becomes a shared moment. It becomes a digital inside joke. And for people who consume trends quickly, they want to be part of that moment while it's happening, not after it's gone. Missing out feels like distance. It feels like losing connection. It feels like people will know things they don't. They worry about becoming irrelevant, unnoticed, unseen. Not because they are shallow, but because being part of trends gives them a sense of belonging. It makes them feel close to the world. It makes them feel like they exist in the same moment as everyone else. And in a world where people drift apart emotionally, this quick participation becomes a way to stay connected. Stay with me, because what comes next is even deeper. And it explains how this craving for connection ties into overstimulation, anxiety, and the pace of modern life. Some people feel uncomfortable in silence. Their thoughts run too fast. Their mind never stops moving. Boredom feels heavy, and quiet moments make them restless. For these individuals, fast trends become mental oxygen. They keep the brain busy, entertained, distracted, and stimulated. Especially for those who overthink, who deal with anxiety, who feel overwhelmed internally, or who struggle with emotional discomfort. The quick, shifting nature of microcontent helps them avoid sitting with thoughts they'd rather escape. The constant stream of trends gives them something to focus on, something to hold, something to feel that isn't their own worry or stress. It becomes a kind of emotional regulator. Not perfect, not healthy in the long run, but comforting in the moment. For some, scrolling isn't just entertainment, it's relief. It's a break from their own mind. And we're not done yet, because the deeper we go, the more this behavior starts to make sense. Stay with me till the end, because the next sections will show exactly how this overstimulation reshapes the brain and what it reveals about the emotional world of fast trend consumers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect moment. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Trends give people a quick identity to step into. One day, they find comfort in the softness of cottagecore. The next week, they fall in love with gym talk energy. A few days later, they are suddenly drawn to clean minimalism or dreamy travel aesthetics. To others, this might look inconsistent, confusing, or fake. But the truth is, it's not confusion at all. It's exploration. Fast trend consumers are trying to learn something about themselves. Each new trend gives them a temporary mirror, a small window that shows a different side of who they might be. Every aesthetic offers a new emotion, a new lifestyle, a new part of their personality to test. Through this constant shift, they are slowly building their identity piece by piece. Before social media existed, people did the same thing using fashion, music, hobbies, or friend groups. Now, the world offers a new identity every single day, and curiosity pulls people toward these new experiences. Some individuals genuinely need this variety to understand what fits them and what doesn't. Trying, changing, and experimenting is how they grow emotionally and creatively. Keep watching, because next we dive into the emotional vulnerability that hides behind constant trend hopping. For many fast trend consumers, trends are more than entertainment. They are a way to escape. When life feels overwhelming, when responsibilities pile up, when the heart feels heavy, when loneliness or uncertainty creeps in, trends become a moment of relief. They are light. They are quick. They don't demand emotional energy. They offer an instant distraction from stress, sadness, anxiety, or difficult thoughts. Instead of sitting with their emotions, people scroll. Instead of facing something painful, their mind pulls them towards something easy. This doesn't mean these people are weak. It means their mind is trying to protect them in the only way it knows, by giving them a break. Scrolling through trends is comforting because it gives them control. Their emotions may be unpredictable, but trends are predictable. New ones appear every few seconds. There's always something fresh to look at, something to laugh at, something to copy, something to think about instead of themselves. And the pace of trends fits perfectly into emotional avoidance. If something feels too heavy, they can jump into another trend immediately. If a moment feels too painful, they can bury themselves in endless content. The distraction works, at least for a while. Stay until the end, because the next section shows how society itself pushes people into this cycle of fast trend consumption. Social media isn't just a place where trends happen. It's a machine designed to keep people watching. Platforms are built to deliver constant stimulation, and the algorithm knows exactly how to keep someone hooked. The moment one trend cools down, a new one appears. The moment one video ends, another starts automatically. The design is intentional. Never leave the mind empty. Never give the viewer a moment to breathe. Always offer something new. Fast trend consumers aren't acting out of weakness. They're reacting exactly the way these systems are engineered to make them react. Every swipe releases a small burst of dopamine. Every new trend brings a fresh dose of excitement. Every notification feels like a reward. Over time, the brain learns to depend on this cycle. It starts expecting constant stimulation, constant novelty, constant movement. This shift affects how people process life. Long videos feel too slow. Deep conversations feel mentally heavy. Real experiences feel too quiet. The brain becomes trained to prefer speed over depth. Don't go anywhere, because next we'll look at how this ties into perfectionism and the fear of falling behind. For some fast trend consumers, trends aren't just entertainment. They're proof that they still belong somewhere. Being updated feels like staying alive in an online world that moves at lightning speed. If they stop even for a moment, they fear becoming invisible. They fear being forgotten. They fear falling behind. Relevance becomes a form of emotional security. Knowing the latest trend makes them feel confident. Sharing it makes them feel connected. Being early to it gives them a sense of social status. It's not about showing off. It's about feeling like they still matter in a world that changes every second. Underneath this urgency, there can be a quiet emotional story. Insecurity, fear of losing connection, low self-worth, or a deeper feeling that people don't really notice them in real life. Trends become a lifeline, a way to be seen when they can't find visibility offline. This isn't vanity. It's vulnerability. It's the human need to belong. Stay with me, because next we explore how even brain chemistry plays a role in this behavior. There's a scientific layer to fast trend consumption, and it begins with dopamine, the brain chemical responsible for pleasure and motivation. Short, fast, exciting content releases quick bursts of dopamine, but the brain adjusts over time. It begins to crave more stimulation to feel the same excitement, pushing people toward even faster, louder, more dramatic content. This changes how the mind works. Slow content becomes uncomfortable. Quiet moments feel empty. Focus becomes difficult. The brain starts rejecting depth because it's not used to it anymore. Real life, with its natural slowness, begins to feel dull in comparison to the high-speed world of trends. People aren't consuming fast trends because they're lazy or simple. They're consuming because the brain has been rewired by constant stimulation. And the modern internet gives the brain everything it craves, instantly, endlessly, and without effort. But there's still more to this picture. Up next, we'll discuss how personality types play a huge. Fast trend consumption often creates an emotional pattern that people don't notice at first. It starts with a rush, a spark of excitement when they discover something new. For a moment, it feels fresh. It feels fun. It feels like this new trend will finally give them energy, inspiration, or even a sense of belonging. But right after the excitement comes overstimulation. Their mind gets full, their attention feels scattered, and the trend stops feeling special. That's when the boredom hits. Suddenly, the thing that felt exciting an hour ago feels dull, empty, meaningless. Then comes the crash, the quiet emotional drop that feels like something is missing. Many people don't recognize this crash as a result of constant stimulation. They just feel a strange restlessness, like they need something else to fill the space. That something else is usually the next trend. So the cycle repeats. Rush, excitement, overstimulation, boredom, emptiness, search. It loops again and again. This does not mean something is wrong with them. It is simply a human brain reacting to too much stimulation too quickly. Understanding this helps people handle trends with more awareness and compassion for themselves. For many people, trends are not just entertainment. They become a mirror that reflects how they feel about themselves. When someone can't keep up with trends, they often feel outdated or left out. It makes them feel slow, boring, or disconnected from the world around them. These feelings chip away at their confidence. They believe they are missing out on something everyone else understands. On the other hand, when they can keep up with trends, they feel good. They feel connected, updated, and socially aware. It gives them a sense of belonging. It makes them feel valuable in conversations. They feel in the loop. And in today's digital world, that feeling is powerful. But this creates a fragile emotional system. Their self-worth begins to rise and fall based on how quickly they can stay updated. The moment they fall behind, their confidence drops. The moment they catch up, they feel better again. This constant emotional fluctuation can be draining. It creates a dependence on trends to feel worthy or included. People don't realize how much their identity gets shaped by the fast pace of the online world. Recognizing this is a first step toward building self-worth that isn't tied to trends at all. Consuming trends at high speed doesn't just affect attention. It affects emotions. When the brain is constantly bombarded with new information, new aesthetics, new ideas, and new emotions, it eventually gets tired. This is when emotional burnout begins. People start feeling mentally drained, even when they haven't done anything heavy that day. They feel irritated by small things, unmotivated to start tasks, or unable to focus on anything for long. Another sign is emotional numbness. Nothing feels exciting anymore. Even trends that should be fun feel bland. They scroll, but they don't feel anything. They watch videos, but their mind drifts. Real life starts feeling too slow. Conversations feel heavy. They lose the ability to enjoy quiet moments. The frustrating part is that burnout actually pushes them to scroll more. They hope that the next video will make them feel something again. But the more they scroll, the more exhausted their brain becomes. This cycle is harmful but it's not permanent. With awareness, people can slow their consumption, take mental breaks, and rebuild their emotional balance. Burnout is not a weakness. It's a sign the brain is asking for rest after too much stimulation that I end every group of fast trend consumers. There are people who never create content. They only watch. They know every trend, every sound, every meme, every aesthetic, but they never post anything themselves. This isn't because they lack ideas or creativity. It's because posting feels emotionally risky. Many fear being judged. They worry someone will criticize them, laugh at them, ignore them, or compare them to others. For some, the internet doesn't feel like a safe place to express themselves. Others feel like they can't keep up with the quality standards. They see creators who seem perfect, confident, funny, or talented, and they convince themselves they'll never match that level. Some people also struggle with self-comparison. They believe others are more interesting or more skilled, so they stay silent. Watching becomes easier than participating. Consumption feels safe. Creation feels vulnerable. And then there are people who simply enjoy being observers. They like studying trends, watching creativity, and seeing how culture shifts. They don't feel the need to be in the spotlight. Whatever the reason, their silence is not laziness. It's a form of emotional protection. And with time, support, and confidence, even quiet consumers can find their own. Some people consume trends fast because, deep inside, they feel emotionally alone. They may live with others, talk to people every day, or even laugh with friends online. But inside, they feel a quiet emptiness they can't explain. Trends become a way to fill that silence. They make the person feel connected, even if the connection only lasts a few seconds. When they watch someone dancing, cooking, or sharing a funny story, it gives them a moment of warmth, like a tiny spark of human closeness. For many people, fast trend consumption is an entertainment. It's comfort. It's company. It's noise that hides the loneliness they don't want to face. And there's nothing shameful about that. Humans are social beings. When real-life connection feels missing, the brain grabs whatever connection it can find, even short videos, even strangers online. Fast consumption becomes a temporary emotional bandage, something that makes the heart feel less heavy, even if only for a moment. But that also means people deserve compassion, not judgment. Behind the scrolling, behind the laughter, behind the endless consumption, there's often a heart just trying to feel less alone. Stay with me because the next section is one of the most important ones: how to break this cycle and regain emotional balance. You don't have to quit trends completely. You don't have to disappear from social media. You just have to slow down, just enough to regain control over your mind again. People can break the cycle through very small steps. Limiting screen time by even 10 minutes helps the brain reset. Choosing long-form videos once in a while trains the mind to focus again. Taking short dopamine breaks from scrolling gives the brain time to breathe. Spending a few moments offline, walking, sitting quietly, or enjoying a hobby helps the nervous system calm down. Mindfulness is powerful too. Even pausing before you scroll and ask yourself, "Do I need this right now?" can shift your behavior. You stop consuming unconsciously. You start choosing what you watch more intentionally. Slow consumption builds emotional strength. It gives you better focus. It improves your ability to think deeply. It stabilizes your mood. It reconnects you with real life. And it improves your self-esteem because you stop measuring yourself through trends. And here's the truth. By staying till this part of the video, you've already done something rare. You chose depth over speed. You chose focus over distraction. You slowed down. That alone means you are stronger than you think. The psychology of fast trend consumption is not simple. It's not just entertainment. It's not just habit. It's not just fun. It's a mix of brain chemistry, emotional needs, social pressure, curiosity, personality traits, escape mechanisms, and the constant fear of falling behind. People don't consume trends fast because they are shallow. They do it because the world is overwhelming, the mind is tired, and the heart is searching for something: connection, comfort, distraction, or meaning. If you recognize yourself anywhere in this video, I want you to know something important. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not failing. You are simply human, living in a time where everything moves too fast, where everything demands your attention, and where your brain is trying its best to protect you from stress, boredom, and emotional pain. Awareness is the beginning of balance. Now you understand why you scroll the way you do. You understand the emotional and psychological reasons behind your habits. And that understanding gives you power. The power to slow down, the power to choose, the power to heal. If this video helped you think deeper, feel understood, or see yourself more clearly, I invite you to subscribe. This channel is a space for people who want to grow, people who want to understand themselves, people who choose depth over noise.